You know that feeling when you, or maybe your kid, go to the eye doctor and the prescription is just a little bit stronger than last year? It happens all the time, but it's actually part of a huge global trend called myopia. Today, we're going to dive into some incredible tech that's designed not just to help you see, but to actually manage this trend head-on.
Okay, let's just start with a number to show you how big of a deal this is. By 2050, forecasts say 5 billion people will have myopia. That's almost half the entire planet. So yeah, we're not just talking about needing stronger glasses anymore. This has become a serious global health concern.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The World Health Organization itself is sounding the alarm. See, when myopia gets really bad, it seriously increases the risk of other, more dangerous eye conditions down the road. So finding ways to slow it down isn't just a nice idea, it's becoming more urgent every day.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to really grasp the scale of the world's vision problem. Then, we'll get into a pretty wild overnight solution and look at the science. Does it really slow myopia? From there, we'll tackle the big question of long-term safety. And finally, we'll see how all of this is shaping a brand new standard in eye care.
Because of this growing problem, the whole conversation around eye care has had to change. It's not just about, here are some glasses so you can see the board today. It's shifted to, what can we do to slow this down and protect your vision for the long haul? And that's especially true when we're talking about kids.
And this is where a really different kind of technology comes into the picture. It's called OrthoKeratology. But don't worry, everybody just calls it Ortho-K. And the amazing part? It works its magic while you sleep.
All right, so what is it exactly? Well, Ortho-K is a way to reshape the front part of your eye, the cornea, using a specially designed contact lens. You wear it overnight, and it gently molds your eye into the right shape. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a dental retainer, but for your eye. It does its job at night, so everything stays in place all day.
And the daily routine is about as simple as it gets. You just pop the lenses in right before you go to bed. They do all the work while you're sleeping. Then, in the morning, you take them out, and boom, you can see clearly all day long. No glasses, no daytime contacts, nothing.
Now, getting clear vision is one thing. That's great. But the real game changer here is the idea that this reshaping can do more. The theory is, by changing the cornea's shape, it also changes how light focuses on the outer parts of your retina. This seems to send a signal to the eye to, well, slow down its growth. So the billion-dollar question is, does the science back this up? This is the crucial question, right? For any parent watching their kid's prescription get worse year after year, this is what matters. Is Ortho-K just a temporary fix for vision, or can it actually change the path of their eyesight for the better? All right, let's look at the data. A huge study called the ROMIO study tracked this very thing. See, myopia gets worse because the eyeball literally grows longer. What you're looking at here is how much the eye grew over 2 years. The bar on the left, that's kids wearing regular glasses. The one on the right is for the kids using Ortho-K. I mean, the difference is pretty clear, right? The eye growth was way less in the Ortho-K group. And we can put a hard number on that result. 43%. According to the study, Ortho-K slowed down that lengthening of the eye by 43% compared to just wearing glasses. That is a massive reduction. So how does it stack up against other modern treatments? Well, another study put Ortho-K head-to-head with multifocal soft contact lenses, which are another popular option. And the results? They were pretty much neck and neck. This shows that Ortho-K isn't some outlier. It's a legitimate, evidence-based option right alongside the other leading methods. But of course, with any treatment you're using every single night for years on end, especially with kids, the #1 question has to be, is it safe? So, what does the long-term data tell us? To figure that out, we're going to look at a huge study from 2022. Researchers went back and looked at the records of 300 patients who had been using Ortho-K for up to 18 years. This gives us a really rare and valuable peek at the long-term effects. And the results are really encouraging. As you can see, the vast majority of patients had no complications at all over the long run. We're talking about 2/3 of children and more than half of adults. For those who did have an issue, the most common one was minor corneal staining, which is a manageable condition. And maybe most importantly, that tiny little slice for serious problems, it's practically zero. In fact, the study's own conclusion just says it all. They called Ortho-K a safe and predictable long-term procedure. For anyone considering it, that's the kind of strong, evidence-based reassurance you want to hear.
So what happens when you have interventions like this that are both effective and safe? Well, it starts to change the entire philosophy of eye care.
You've got major organizations like the World Council of Optometry basically saying that just correcting a kid's blurry vision with glasses isn't good enough anymore. The standard of care is shifting. We're moving away from just passive correction and toward proactive care. This new standard is really built on three main ideas. First is mitigation, educating families on things like lifestyle and getting more outdoor time. Second is measurement, not just checking the prescription, but actually tracking the physical growth of the eye. And third is management, using proven tools like Ortho-K to actively slow the whole process down.
And that really leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. In an age where we now have safe and effective ways to slow myopia, is the old approach of just getting a stronger prescription every year really the best we can do for our long-term eye health? All the evidence seems to be pointing to a new standard of care that's already here.